We'll be doing this here and there. This is the 401 Dreams podcast.
Never on time.
Special guest, Chino.
Yeah, special guest. I just came from work. Working, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wish I had my own podcast, but I don't.
He's the Spanish Tiger Woods of Rhode Island. So yeah, we've been talking about this for quite a while now. I feel she got red bottoms on.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Even though it hasn't been good since they dropped that.
So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of the Young Money radio, and Lil Wayne. I'm surprised at how insightful he is.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Is it every day a new episode?
It's every Friday.
Oh, at Fridays?
Every Friday at 7.
Aren't they on episode 7? So
off
at 7
yeah. Yesterday was 7, and he interviewed Killer Mike. He interviewed Chris Paul. He interviewed
a lot of names on there.
The mayor of DC.
Yeah.
She approved of the protesters painting Black Lives Matter on that street that leads to the White House.
She approved.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh yeah. And Trump was mad.
Of course. He's all calling her incompetent and all this other shit.
Oh, yeah?
Guy, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
And the week before, he interviewed Dr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci, the health director.
The CDC?
The guy that is usually at Trump's briefing, and the guy that was
Yeah. When he's talking about
the meat department or whatever. He was oh, I can't believe this guy said that. He interviewed him. He interviewed Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre rarely does interviews.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I'm just really surprised at how insightful Lil Wayne is with everything going on, because I know he catches a lot of fire when something sensitive pops up, and then he expresses his opinion, and people are
Yeah, I mean, I understand people these artists are celebrities, they're not politicians, and they rarely pay attention to the politics, just like us, you know what I mean? They just know what's ever on the news. So I understand some people say celebrities shouldn't speak up, but use their platforms in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he caught slack for that statement. He said, we gotta blame ourselves.
Yeah.
When you say something like that, that's a little insensitive.
It's tone deaf with everything that's going on. We have all seen the video of George Floyd and the white cop, so for him to say that, it definitely hurts a lot of people.
Because that's out of context too.
Yeah, and it's you kind of understand what he means, but it's all about the timing too.
And the words, he said it. You gotta choose your words wisely. Yeah, when you're that big of an artist, you have that big of a platform, you gotta use it wisely, man. Because people are gonna bash you, whatever you say. So you gotta choose your words wisely.
And it wasn't the first time that he's made some remarks that were under fire. I think he was being interviewed a few years back, and T.I. was really upset with him. They were talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and he was oh, that has nothing to do with me. It's as long as I'm me and I'm rich and I'm getting this money, I can care less about that. And T.I. was pissed.
And did he say something I'm skating? That's all that.
Yeah. And it's come on, you have all these supporters and day one fans that look up to you, and when you say something like that,
he's been in the game for so long. He's going against so many other presidents and so many other issues that's happening in the world and society. Georgia. That was about Katrina, how the government wasn't helping down there in New Orleans at all.
Hey, and he this Bush at the time. Yeah. He remixed.
I didn't know that
Georgia.
I didn't know that was a song. Wasn't that Luda song?
Yeah, I have it.
I didn't know that was its own song.
Oh, you thought it was for ATL?
No, I thought Georgia was an old song back in the day that Lil Wayne just hopped on.
Oh no,
Luda sampled it.
And that's Jamie Foxx, because at the time that song came out, I believe that's when he was doing that movie Ray. So he was doing the Ray impersonation on songs like Gold Digger, and then you had Georgia, and the first time that I heard that song because it's part of the. I'm pretty sure it's part of the ATL soundtrack.
Georgia?
Yeah, music
Luda?
from and inspired by ATL. When you watch ATL, that's like the first song they play. And I've seen the video and like.
Don't they play the Lil Wayne version though? Or they play Luda's
No, they play Luda's verse and then it just jumps right into the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, Lil Wayne, he remixed that around the time Katrina happened, and it was a diss to George Bush. He called it George Bush. He's Georgia Bush. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, nah, he went in, bro. Like, that's around the time where he was so popular. He was jumping on any beat, anybody's feature. Like, he was just killing everybody.
And it's crazy.
His own song.
Because from, like, I want to say, like, 04, 05 to, like, 2010, like, Lil Wayne was like on top of his game, not just with Carter 3 but like before that, because he was like Future before Future when it comes to like the mixtape game. He was dropping mixtape after mixtape, remix after remix,
because he was a part of the Hot Boys.
And he was probably at the time like because Jay-Z had briefly retired, so someone needed to fill that void. And I feel like Lil Wayne was that guy. So fast forward to the present time, I feel like the younger generation, they don't truly understand and they don't truly appreciate Lil Wayne for what he is and what he was back in the day, because they get so caught up with the new music and the new artists. So like when Lil Wayne hops on like a Little Baby track or like Amigos track or something, you know, he's overshadowed by those artists, you know, and they don't think for a minute like, oh, Lil Wayne, you know, like Lil Wayne's a GOAT in this rap game because he's been in the rap game for like 20 plus years. And he
said he's been rapping since 9 years old.
Yeah, he's like late 30s now.
I don't know what song it was, but you could tell he was really young. They were wearing all purple in the music video. They had the purple cars. They were in a cemetery. And I just remember his verse coming on, and he had the raspiest voice, mad, pitchy. Well, at the time I was young too, so I didn't know he was young. That's just his voice, being a young artist. But it was just so annoying, but it's just because he was young, so his
you don't remember the song?
No, I don't remember the song.
Because like you were describing the video, I don't even. Was he part of the group at the time?
Yeah, it definitely had to have been around the Hot Boys time, or maybe a little bit before that.
Bling bling.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit before Hot Boys, honestly. And but yeah, I just remember he was so annoying. But with the Hot Boys, they just grew, matured, juvenile.
Yeah. I remember. Back that ass up. That was probably the first time I heard
the reason why
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, he was on that. Back that ass up.
Yeah.
Oh, the
towards the end. Yeah. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah. You're right.
Don't stop.
I'm just right. Like, just like when Kendrick Lamar first came out, we didn't like his voice, you know.
Because they were young, and now they're all grown, and they're, you know. Sipping on that weed.
No, but I saw somewhere that the reason why Lil Wayne got his own solo career was because he ended up getting injured during the tour of the Hot Boys, and he ended up being separated, you know, just recover from his injury. And like every night the crowd would ask for Lil Wayne, and then when he finally got better, Birdman was like, all right, just run out there. And the crowd just went wild just for Lil Wayne, and that was like the birth of his solo career. I
think there's a show on Netflix called Hip Hop Evolution, and I believe they dive deep into the upbringing of Cash Money.
Yeah, I think I heard about that show. I didn't watch it. I have to look into that show though, because that sounds interesting. It dives into different groups.
It starts from like where it first began, like in the 70s, 80s, so on and so forth. I definitely want to watch it because I know it's going to be very interesting, and you get to learn more about where it all stemmed from. And
these are favorite groups. You know, one of our favorite groups, so why not know the origin of these stories?
Exactly. And
that's the thing. Once groups go into that commercial light, people just forget about the upbringing of where they originally first came from. All we care about is the radio plays, all the hits they're making now. You know what I mean? Nobody goes back to see where they came from. And that's why nowadays kids think they could just put a song on SoundCloud and become famous. You know, they don't understand the work and grind you got to put in and hours you got to put in these days. They just want the overnight success, which doesn't last long at all.
Yeah, when Lil Wayne was part of the Hot Boys, I heard that he was the one that like stood out the most, and they wanted to sign him.
I don't know, cause I think Juvenile was a little bit more star-studded than Lil Wayne.
Yeah. So it was probably like the both of them, but Juvenile never really blew up the way he wanted to.
It's just cause Juvenile was that gritty rap, you know, and probably Birdman just focused more on Lil Wayne, because I think Juvenile ended up leaving because maybe contract issues or some shit. It's always about the money at the end of the day.
You know, after years of tensions and feuds, you know, that all like died down, they were able to resolve it. So Lil Wayne's like his own thing now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And Drake's his own thing now. So he runs his own thing, Lil Wayne runs his own thing, and Birdman could do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're still affiliated though, I believe, with Cash Money.
Yeah.
In the paperwork. So Birdman's still making the money, maybe a smaller percentage, but
from everyone.
Yeah,
from everyone.
Because supposedly he made like $2 billion last year, just from Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj. Well, Birdman and Universal made $2 billion, so he split that with everybody else.
And that's why he was.
Yo, poverty, man.
Yo, that shit is annoying. It's like, what time is it? Damn, I gotta draw a new battery. And that's why Drake was dropping those projects that were projects and not official albums, because I feel like he wanted to just get out of that situation.
Well, also too, I feel like he did that on purpose too. You know how More Life was called a playlist? It was called an EP. It wasn't called a mixtape. It wasn't called an album. It was called a playlist. And I feel like he uses that word specifically because of contracts. Maybe the contracts couldn't benefit off that, or maybe something. Because I know he's smart too. This guy's been in the game also. He's been in the show industry, you know.
Yeah, since he was a kid.
So he knows about contracts. You know what I mean? He might have signed a bad music contract, but it's alright. He knows how to finagle and get out of things. And I'm sure he used that word playlist specifically for a certain reason. Because he's like, alright, these guys want to benefit off me, cash off me, and leave me with a little bit amount, and I'm the one putting all in this work. I'm keeping Young Money and Cash Money afloat right now. Nah, fuck that.
And now it's Frozen Moments.
Yeah, I believe he has a label now called Frozen Moments.
And the last
Tootsie
project,
Slide, I think, came off of Frozen Moments. I don't know if Dark Lane.
When I see Dark Lane demo tapes, if you go to Apple Music, I'm pretty sure it just says OVO.
Really?
It says OVO, and I believe it says distributed by like Universal or something.
Because I feel like Tootsie Slide, when it first came out as a single,
I think it was another song that you said.
Yeah, I think it was Money in the Grave.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. My way from the playlist.
And you notice how during this pandemic, like there was a few artists that were like speaking up and started saying some crazy shit, like French Montana saying that he has more hits than Kendrick, you know, just trying to get some buzz. And then the Baby, I believe he said that because of the COVID-19 that he was gonna lose like $7 billion because he was supposed to do some tours or like some concerts.
Yeah, artists, especially nowadays, since now a lot of people are buying physical copies, like you can't really prove how many fans you have.
You're relying on the streams because everything's digital now. Everything's digital, so it's hard to keep up with the streaming statistics.
Exactly, and then so the label has a hard time paying you because if they're not getting money you know, that revenue coming in from, you know, physical copies. And right now, the way they charge streaming service, you're not really making that much as an artist through streaming. So you rely on the tours, you know, because that's physical people coming into a venue to watch you.
And that's what J. Cole said in 1985 when he was pretty much targeting all these these new artists that are chasing a trend. Yeah. Because people know that trends, they don't last long, you know, so it's like, all right, you're gonna come out with a song, right, and it's for that moment, but do you think people are gonna listen to that 6 months from now or like a year later? Maybe if it was like that song, like Old Town Road, for instance, like I can see people still playing that today and maybe like 2 years down the road because like it was big, but like most artists, they can't do that because people grow up. Their music taste buds, they change, you know, so like
life experiences changes in your life, personal life.
So like what J. Cole said is how the artists they eat in the rap game is by touring, because you're going to city, state to state, overseas, country to country, and you're promoting your music and you're getting more people's ears to listen to your music and wanting to buy merchandise, buy your album and all that stuff, and then it spreads, you know.
Yeah, because even before this pandemic, the strategics of the labels, the way they would bring up these artists, the way they would make them blow up, it was through chaos and through shock advertisement. So shock advertisement can include beefs or anything dumb that you do. They'll just use that as promotion. So, like you said, French Montana, he came out and said something ridiculous, saying that he has more hits than Kendrick. And you see, everybody knows that's not true.
And you see how random that was, too, because it's like French, he's one of those guys that doesn't say much in the media at all. But then you start to realize, oh, wait, with everything going on in this world in the pandemic, it's touring. Like he's not touring, he's not putting out any music, so he's probably feeling the pressure like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do? I have to say something.
He needs to stay relevant
to get that notoriety built up again, so people could pay attention to me, listen to me. But also, since you name drop someone else, they're gonna listen to him more too.
And the thing too, he did right after that, he dropped a single with Tory Lanez.
Yes, exactly. See, it's all strategy, and people build up to that. People feed into it. They're like, oh shit, this guy's crazy. Next thing you know, boom, single.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they get people's attention.
If I just came out and said I have more hits and I just dropped a new song, people are going to rush to it to see, let's see how good he is, especially his most recent song. Let's see how good it is. See if it's a hit. You know what I mean? So they can go to it. Streams are going to be through the roof just for that day, whatever that week. And it's just all about streaming numbers, man.
Honestly, I didn't even hear that song.
I feel like the radio.
It was only hot for like that moment, and now it just faded away.
Now it's cold. The name of it's cold.
Really? See, like I didn't even get a chance to listen to it on the radio or like it on Apple Music being advertised. Nothing.
It's just publicity stunts.
And like I feel like French Montana is just one of those artists. He needs to depend on an artist that's bigger than him. Like he needs to get that person to be on the track so it can blow up, and then his streaming numbers do well for that song, and then if he drops an album, it's hot for that moment, for like that weekend, and then it just dies out. Like I listened to his recent album, Montana. It's long. It's like 20 plus songs.
His recent album?
His recent album.
That's not recent. Half the songs on there are from 2016.
Like a few songs. Like he had no stylist, no shot. Yeah. That's a force. But you see,
Jaw with Kodak.
Yeah, but you see, that's how these artists, they take advantage of the streaming, because it's like, oh, since these songs they came out years prior, those songs already have a bunch of streaming numbers, so they count that towards the album.
That's why he went gold so quick.
Exactly, because of those singles. And what's another artist? Oh fuck, he dropped.
Russ.
No, fuck that guy. some artists, and no offense to Russ, because like I really like that album, and it definitely if you haven't listened to it yet, he dropped the deluxe to it, and if you listen to it, you can understand why I fuck with it, because it came at a perfect time in my life, and it's positive. Yeah, and you can't say anything bad about it positive. Like it's great.
I've only heard the 3 a.m. track with Ty Dolla $ign.
That was good. Yeah. That was good.
Anything Ty Dolla $ign run, except for his own albums, I don't know why I can't get used to his albums. I feel like he's
mostly for features. Yeah,
his voice is always a hit, man.
But there's an artist that dropped an album this year, and it was probably The Weeknd. Like he had Heartless, he had Blinding Lights drop a few months prior to the album. The album drops, it's already platinum.
Yes, it sucks to be a music fan right now, because last year I feel like not a lot of highlights happened for music, and then this year the big names were dropping, boom boom, but with just fucking real life situations, what's happening in real life, which I feel like it's a good thing too that it is happening to us, because it's helping us grow. But it just sucks being a music fan. Just music fan aspect, in that perspective, it just sucks because it's being overshadowed by the coronavirus that's man-made, the fucking racism that we can't get over, because it's...
To this day,
the system is built for us to be divided. They want us to be divided, segregated, so we don't come together and unite and overcome the officials, the public officials that work for us.
Yep.
We pay taxes, so they work for us.
The media, they don't want us together. Like, the media's worst fear,
they want the poor to stick to the poor, the middle class stick with the middle class, and the rich to stay with the rich. They want to keep us that way.
They don't want to see us integrated. They don't want to see us diverse, having a good time together, coming up with ideas and making the world a better place. They rather pit us against one another, and the media, they only show you what they want to show you. Like, I seen a clip on Twitter, and you probably seen it too, because everyone's always liking and retweeting shit, so we always see it on the feed. You see on the top screen, you see what the media is showing you, and the bottom screen is what Twitter has, and it was the Black Lives Matters movement is protesting, and everyone's doing a peaceful protest, and then you see, and I think it was in New York too, you see the police cruiser, he's driving through the crowd, and then it gets cut off by the media logo, and then the bottom screen, they continue to show that same clip. They make it seem like the officer had stopped, but in all actuality, the cruiser, he was driving through the protesters. He was running over people that were peacefully protesting, and it's crazy because it's like,
New York?
Yeah.
Supposedly they got I don't know if it was the head of the police department, but he gave him the go ahead to start shooting people. Like, just shoot them. Who cares? I saw like an audio clip of that going around in New York of the head.
Oh, the alleged audio leak from the police cruisers, their radios. I heard that too. Like, with everything going on in this world ever since what happened to George Floyd, you're starting to see America, and most people spell it with 3 Ks because America has not been good to the minorities. You're starting to see America's true colors. Like, now that everyone, like, with everything that's been going on, now that the stay at home and the quarantine is kind of lifted, everyone's out and about, the police wasted absolutely no time to start killing people. And I feel like with this particular death, it got to a point where it's like, we've seen this cycle happen one too many times. We've had enough. Something needs to change, and this is like a start of a new revolution. And I feel like we're the generation, and people younger than us are gonna be the voice, the people to spark change, because we've seen this all too many times. And I feel like it all started with the whole Trayvon Martin situation, and Eric Garner and Sandra Bland. Like, I seen all these videos, and it's like, this is fucking crazy. It's like, we start to speak up when things happen, but then all of a sudden it dies out, and we kind of just forget about it. And it's like, we can't do that. So with this particular death, it just reminded everyone about previous deaths, and it's like, this needs to stop. right now. Something needs to change, and it's showing America's true colors. It's showing the people that have a fucking badge and a gun's true colors. You seeing people that are peacefully protesting. They're not starting shit. They're not inciting shit. It's the pigs. It's the 12s. It's the cops that they come to protect and serve the community, right? Yeah. And they're the ones with the riot shields, the helmets, the guns, the batons, the tear gas. They're the ones that are starting that shit. Yeah. And the media, they're trying to paint the picture like, oh, look at these bad people rioting and looting. Like, yeah, they always focus on the negative shit because they want the media wants the people that are like sheep, that are not woke, thinking that this is what has America's become.
Well, the thing is, too,
all these bad people doing this shit, and it's not like that.
The thing about it, we're living here in Rhode Island. We only see what we see here in Rhode Island. We don't know what goes on in different states. So the media is the biggest factor in all of this. They control our perception. So the people that don't want to look for different outlets, they'll watch the regular news and see what they portray and think that's real life.
Yeah.
They don't realize that we don't live this, so we don't know exactly what's going on all the time. Like, yes, over here there was a small riot in our state. It was small, though. There was more peaceful protesting happening than the rioting happened. But of course, the media just shows the light on the rioting to make it seem like that's what's happening more than the peaceful protesting.
Yep.
And they just want us to be scared because they control us with that fear. They divide us with that fear. And it's just a big ass fucking movie, bro. Like, they're just playing their part, and it's just behind the system that it's all calculated to be this way. They want it this way.
They do want it this way.
And that's one good thing about social media, is that we have personal intel. You know, we have people that are just walking around and recording, and we're getting to see real lifetime situations. We don't have edited fucking footage that the news has. They edit it perfectly to make it seem a certain way.
Yep. And it's not new, you know. They've been doing this for years, but now we have the technology to see it with our own eyes. Like, now we have phones that are able to record everything and anything now. Yeah. You know, we don't rely on one source. We rely on multiple sources. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's if you want to. So they still have, like you said, the sheeps in middle America. I don't mean to disrespect anyone that lives there, that is awake and knows what's really going on. But yeah, just middle America that just watches CNN, watches those racist reporters, fucking the way, like, the words they use.
Laura Ingram, whatever her fucking name is.
That's fucked up.
That is just so blatantly disrespectful.
And how the fact that she still has a job right now.
Exactly. It just goes to show how the media is corrupt, and they don't care what you say. As long as you're white and you portray a certain image, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Like the edit where they showed her talking about LeBron and her talking about Drew Brees. Like, that edit right there, I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah, I seen when that came out, and it's funny because us as minorities, we always find a way to flip that negative into a positive. It was LeBron and KD, and they were being interviewed by Carrie Champion, and she said, "Oh, you guys are terrific athletes, but you guys aren't politicians. Trump is our coach, he's our leader, you guys need to shut up and dribble." LeBron and his people, they were able to flip that, and they turned that into a documentary, and they called it Shut Up and Dribble. You know, so it's like you could take a negative and flip it into a positive, and so many people watched that. It was all about, you know, systemic racism and political injustice, and how the NBA was in the beginning up until now, and how life was in the 50s and 60s.
How we evolved.
How we evolved from that, and how it's still going on to this day. And for her recently to say, Drew Brees is talking about, oh, I don't like how anyone's disrespecting the flag.
No one mentioned that shit.
We're not talking about the flag. It has nothing to do with the flag.
We're not disrespecting the soldiers, because there were black soldiers, there were Hispanic soldiers right next to that white soldier.
For her to say he has an opinion. LeBron and Kevin Durant, they had an opinion too, but you wanted to shut that down all for the simple fact of the skin color.
It's all about the words, man. They know it's gonna mess with people's brains and people's perception.
I don't know when, if it'll ever end, but I do sense like a change, a shift in the culture, in the world. Like, enough is enough, and I don't think like the protests are gonna end, because it's like we want more than what they gave us so far. They think that this protest was just to put these officers in jail. No, we want justice in the whole society. Yeah, we
the
want
whole
change.
United States.
We want equality.
Like the fact that we have to watch these videos of people dying just because of the skin color, just because these officers are scared of our skin complexion. That's the thing people forget too. Officers are human beings first. They had a life before being an officer. So anything they went through before being an officer, they're going to take that mentality with them into their job. They're going to react on things personally because that's how they felt before they were an officer. And people don't realize that. If a white officer was born in a nice suburban neighborhood, always was taught that the poor are dangerous because they don't have money, this and that, and usually the poor people are minorities, you know, color. So if he's raised in that type of climate, obviously what he's bringing to the table as an officer is not going to be in the right state of mind. And it's ridiculous. And I remember talking to somebody, and he was saying that he looked up the origin of police officers, how they originated. And I guess back in the day, slaves, they would have these officers by their sides, watching them, making sure they're picking cotton, watching them each moment, you know, making sure they're not running away. And they were considered officers. So for that to be the origin of a police officer, that just shows you that that system hasn't changed. Because look at the jails, look at the prisons. Why are there private prisons out there that are making money off how many people are in there? So they have an agenda then. They have an agenda to put as many people in here, because as many people are in here, the more money the more money they make. And they're gonna keep people of color in there because they don't want us to evolve. They don't want us to grow. They don't want us to achieve our goals and move into better area codes, you know, because that's another thing too. Donald Trump the other day was picking on the lower class. He was saying, oh, I don't know why you guys are so upset. Change your own lives. You're living in poverty. You got bad schools. Basically calling us dumb on live television. And the thing is, we don't control where we live when we're kids, you know what I mean? It's all learned behaviors. If we're in a bad school district that gets funded by property taxes, obviously our property taxes are cheaper than Barrington, you know, a nice area, high property taxes, their schools getting all the money. So obviously they're gonna have a better school system because they have more money. Why don't you fund us? Why does the federal government, who are there to help us, fund more for our schooling? No, because they want this cycle to continue to happen. They want us to be the hamsters.
Yeah.
They want to kill us off when population is too high. Yeah, kill off the poor, kill off the minorities. We don't need them here anyways. Just keep killing them. And that's the bigger picture right there. Is just the class of your income.
And I seen like a snippet on IG. I didn't get to finish the rest of it, but it's pretty much what you were just describing. It was a black kid and his family and a white kid and his family. They live in a urban area. They live in a suburban area. Yep. He goes to this school. He goes to that school. They're being funded by the government, but they don't have access to extracurricular activities. They don't have access to higher education tutors. While this white kid, he goes to a school, it's funded by the same people, but for some reason they have all those extracurricular activities and all those extra stuff that they don't have, you know. And it's a cycle that just needs to break, because it really, skin color shouldn't be a thing. Like, we're all one human race. Yeah, you know?
Like you said earlier, our technology is just, it's crazy how much technology we have right now. and everything. Like cars, they've been advanced. Like if you look at a car that's from 1920 or whatever into a car
100 years.
100 years.
And now
you could tell that we're advanced in the car industry. We have so much technology. But if you look at the school system has been the same in public schooling since the first time it ever, was brought about.
That's very true.
It has not evolved. It has not changed. And the way they fund these schools are set up to be this way. Like I said, they take it out the property taxes. If you live in an urban area, your property taxes are going to be cheap. So the schools don't have a lot to take from your property taxes. They can't get the real books. They can't get the right curriculum, the criterias. And the rich, they have high property taxes. The school has plenty to take from that, and they're going to have all the good stuff. Charter schools, private schools. Like, yeah, obviously if I can afford to put my kid in a private school, I'm going to do that because I want him to have the best option in this world. And it's set up that way. You know what I mean? They don't want kumbaya. They don't want us all being equal, us being able to afford to travel the world that we come from. Like, that's one thing I want to do before I leave this earth, is travel the world that God gave me, to see each part with my own two eyes, not just on Google, It's just messed up how it's just set up, and I feel like it's well calculated, and they made us this way on purpose.
Have you ever in your life experienced racism at any point?
Oh yeah.
There was a couple times, and like obviously it doesn't compare to
being black,
but like, from the area that we live in, we dress a certain way, and we're automatically looked as bad people, and there was a couple times that I'm just walking on the sidewalk and police officer pulls me over. He's asking me a bunch of questions, and he thinks because like I fit the description, I'm that person. It was 2 times that happened to me. One time I was walking from the library, and then one time I literally just walked out my house, and I'm like a few houses down, like on the sidewalk, and they pulled me over and they're asking me questions and stuff. It could have been bad, but it's still fucked up how they can automatically just assume something worse.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've experienced more of the I don't know if it was a color racism, but more of money racism. Like just walking into certain stores or walking into certain areas, and just like, since like you said, the way we dress, you can tell we're not from that area. So just being looked at, you could tell people are judging you, the way they treat you, it's messed up. I really can't blame them, because we're all brainwashed by media, by things on television, entertainment.
Yeah.
So I really can't blame them, because it's just a system that's been put in from day one, and that's how they want to view us, like that. But yeah, just more of just because I come from poverty, so they assume they can treat me this way and nothing's gonna happen because they have the power, they have the benefit of the doubt. It's their word against ours, so it's unfortunate that we got to deal with that. And being as a kid, you don't really look at things like that because we are naive. You have friends that are of color or are white, so you're just innocent, and that's one thing the world needs to do, is think as a kid more often than not, because we could take a book out of the innocence and naive that the kids do have. And even in sports, people can come together to have this one main goal, to win a ring, to win that trophy. They'll come together for that, but we can't come together as a society and be better and do better. So,
and I feel like with this year in particular, with everything going on, and I shared it on Snap. It was Charlemagne. Like I had read it, but I can't remember it word for word. But it's like what if this year isn't canceled? Like, what if this is the year that's supposed to make everyone uncomfortable?
Yes,
to the point where it's gonna make you
want to
change, make
grow.
you grow. Exactly. You know, and I feel like with everything that's been going on in like in my life specifically, you know, I feel like I needed to go through those situations in order for me to feel very low and uncomfortable in order to achieve that next level.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're halfway through the year, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I do feel mentally stronger than I was earlier in the year with everything going on. Of course, I had my bumps, my ups and downs, and to this day, like I still have those thoughts, you know, but like I'm only human. We're all bound to have those thoughts where you just start thinking bad. But like I've always learned from my brother, like you just got to be able to feel that negative energy and think and fill it with positivity. And with this quarantine and the staying at home in the beginning, it was rough, but I was able to definitely grow and learn and just think about the positives and being surrounded by family and positive energy, protecting my mental, protecting my peace. Like those are like my top priorities as of now, because I felt mentally weak, emotionally weak at one point, and knowing that to this day, you know, I'm currently building up to the point where I'm feeling better. I don't think anything or anyone could jeopardize that. Just knowing what I had to experience and go through and being trapped in four walls and had to force myself to take all those thoughts and throw them out and think about the positive stuff that can happen and that will happen if I pursue it the right way, that everything's gonna be fine, everything's gonna work out, and to not chase anything, chase anyone, just focus on you and your path, and all the right things will gravitate towards me. You know, and it took me a while to understand that concept, but I can say right now, like I definitely believe that, and I gotta continue to push through and keep thinking that, because I know like there's days where I feel like I just want to break down, and then there's other days I'm just happy, and I want to be able to maintain that, and I want to be able to have more of the good days, more of the better days than the bad days, because the bad days can be really bad, but I know the better days will be a lot better.
Yeah, the bad days, if you had no bad days, then you wouldn't appreciate the good.
Exactly.
You know?
Because early in the year, it was horrible, but without those experiences, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, without the struggle, you wouldn't know what to fix. You wouldn't know what to learn, what you need to work on. And that's one thing going through the struggle does for you, is opens your eyes to a different perspective, to new aspects, things that you need to just work on internally, personally, physically. And I had a similar thought. I was trying to look what you posted on Snap story of what Charlamagne was saying, because
it might have disappeared.
Yeah, no, I didn't find it on your story, and I couldn't find it on his Twitter, but he said it very well. It was well said.
It was perfect.
I had a similar thought in the beginning of the year when coronavirus first started, and I was like, well, maybe this was supposed to happen. Maybe we were supposed to grow from this. Like, I had a similar thought, and I was thinking, like, it's not about how we start this year, it's about how we finish it. And I feel it. And then the George Floyd thing happened. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck?
This is just like a major step back, but you get knocked down a couple steps, but you gotta proceed a few steps more. You know, you fall down 7 times, you get back up 8 times.
Yeah, so I just felt like, damn, like in that initial reaction that you have, you know, you just lose all hope.
Yeah.
But then when you come and collect your thoughts you start trying to think positive, and like what Sean wrote that statement, or if he shared it, if it was somebody else's thoughts, it was very well said. And that's how we should start looking at this, that it is a start of a new thing, of a beautiful thing, and that we are going to evolve and we are going to grow from this.
Peace.